Feisty Jays seem to be on high alert this morning. I don't know if it's because he saw something or if he's just extra nervous due to his hormones. I have noticed over the years that the jays tend to get a little more skittish during the mating and nesting season. I saw that his new mate was here. She's pretty shy and don't come close. For the first time since spring arrived, I saw American robins. Usually I see them a lot sooner than this, but I guess this year is just a little different. It has been colder this spring. Going to be a long time before the snow on the hills are gone this year, I think, if it happens at all. Apparently, coastal ice levels are above average due to the consistent cold temperatures. And that means our bay has a lot of ice too. The Coast Guard icebreaker has been pretty busy. Snowy was up a little further and Webster was nearby. It's hard to hear in this clip, but if you look at his throat you'll see his feathers moving. That's because he's singing. He was singing the aptly named whisper song. See, jays aren't always loud. The little guys took some seeds from my hand, and of course a pine siskin wasn't long coming by too. When Snowy came too close, it started alarm calling while on my hand. I've always loved their loud zwee call. After Snowy left, the pine siskin settled down and went back to eating. He was even accompanied by his mate. Dinner for two, so sweet. Up in Hatch and Maggie's territory there were more pine siskins. I put seeds on the tree. It wasn't long before a squirrel crashed the party though, before it even began too. The Gray Jay pair was here today at the edge of Peanut's territory. The other male kept Peanut from coming to me. There was so much commotion going on that I found it hard to focus on one thing. I was all over the place, and worried about Peanut because he was being dominated by the other male in his own territory. Peanut's interest in the female kept him coming back. After, I managed to get away from the Gray Jay pair and Peanut came with me.
Peanut!
I don't think Peanut will get the other Gray Jay's female, but I bet this has really set Peanut's drive to find a female in motion. He hasn't managed to attract one to his territory, so now I have another worry. That he may have to leave in order to find a mate. If that is the case, well, there's not much I can do about that, nor should I. So, if he does leave, I'll just have to wish him well on his adventure and let him go, as much as it'll hurt. Just as I was getting ready to leave for the day, it started to rain. I gave Maggie and Hatch a peanut and then left, hoping that tomorrow when I return, I'll see Peanut. A lovely female downy woodpecker started my day off. I'm always struck by just how tiny these woodpeckers are, not to mention adorable. My lovely Hermosa still doesn't seem to have a mate, but there is still a lot of time. Over the last few days I have continued to see Peanut. The other Gray Jays come by for a short while too and then go off. Not sure where they go.
Good boy. Good boy. Oh, you're such a good boy. Good boy.
Maggie and Hatch are busy these days getting ready to nest, but they stopped by for a bit. I had a peanut held up for one of the jays, but Maggie took an interest in it and so did Hatch. It was short-lived with him though. Maggie was working pretty hard, so I gave her a little help. With all the work done, Hatch came to grab a peanut. Smart little nuthatch. He's got enough work to do as it is, let alone wasting time hammering at a peanut. I heard a bird making a squeaky gate call this morning. This is the squeaky gate call version I hear only male jays making. I was sure it was Hermoso, so I followed the noise, and sure enough it was. He's a busy boy these days, and I think he's working really hard to find the right female. Feisty Jay and his new female were here as well. Snowy and her mate Webster came by too. Webster seemed to enjoy his peanut, whereas Feisty Jay preferred to hide his away. One of the pine siskins hogged my hand from the other birds. Another pine siskin came by and tried getting on my hand, but the other guy wouldn't allow it. I guess it's not his mate, and if it is, he has to work on his manners. On my way up to Hatch and Maggie's territory, I saw Blue and Sweet Girl. They've been so busy these days, I rarely see them. A lovely male pine grosbeak was here too. Hatch ended up coming into Kiwi's territory, which didn't go over well. I love how they stick their tails up and move around. Hatch didn't mess around much. In Hatch's territory, I was greeted by more pine siskins. Maggie tried getting a seed, but the pine siskin threatened her with a wing raise. Reminded me of how people raise their fist as a threat to someone. It even started making that alarm call. When Maggie backed off and left, the pine siskin stopped making the call. I guess it really wanted those seeds to itself. Maggie might be intimidated by them, but Hatch isn't. The Gray Jay pair was here again today. They didn't stick around for long though, and they never gave Peanut much trouble.
Peanut. Good boy.
Peanut had a bath, and just shortly after it started to rain. He could have had a shower instead. It's nice to see the trees not covered in snow. There is still snow on the ground though. But if this warm weather keeps up, it'll be gone soon. Feisty Jay was in a food caching mood again today. Good to be prepared, especially since he'll have a family to feed in a month or so. He even shared a piece of peanut with his mate. I came across a lovely pine grosbeak pair foraging on some tamarack seeds. Speck the boreal chickadee was the first to greet me up in Hatch and Maggie's territory. Then Bud and a pine siskin, which was quickly booted off by a moody Hatch. He's not the only one that's moody. Must be their hormones. The pine siskins fought hard to get some seeds. Eventually, though, they figured out that there were some seeds that had fallen to the ground and happily took advantage. Much further in the woods, I saw my handsome Blue. He seemed to be on high alert, like he was guarding something. He gets like that every spring, and he is guarding something, his lovely mate, Sweet Girl, who was a little shy today. She came out only long enough to get some egg. I made sure to bring that today because I knew she would love it. A bit of protein and some calcium from the shell to help with her egg laying. Nearby, I saw a male hairy woodpecker picking around on the ground. I like seeing them because I don't much. I hadn't seen Peanut yet, or the other Gray Jays either. On my way back out, I saw a nervous Speck. He obviously saw something. I gave him some egg, and that was when I discovered what he saw. It was a gray jay, but it wasn't Peanut. It was the other guy. I kept going because now I really wanted to find Peanut. On the way, I was chased by a couple pine siskins, so I stopped to give them some food. Hermoso showed up at this point too, and the Grey Jays must have followed me because they were here too. Hermoso still doesn't seem to have a female, and I never did find Peanut after. Of course, I went out again today so I could look for Peanut. I have a bad feeling that I'm not going to ever see him again. Along the way, I saw Feisty Jay, his mate, a few pine siskins, a lovely junco, and an alert Snowy and Webster who had a juvenile jay with them. I don't think they wanted that juvenile there, though. I traveled deep into the woods searching for Peanut, but I never found him. I did find Sweet Girl on the way back, though, up by the old abandoned camp. That's been there since I started birding way back in 2011. Sweet Girl seemed to be hiding from something. The other Grey Jay came by for a bit too, and Blue and Sweet Girl collected a bit of food, and I went on my way looking for Peanut, but still never found him. I saw Hermoso though, and he still doesn't have a female. It's been a few days and I still haven't found Peanut. I'm pretty sure that I never will again. I guess he's gone on his own now, and I wish him the best out there wherever he went. I'm happy that I had the time that I did have with him. It was really, really nice. It snowed this morning. Not a lot, but just enough to tick you off. Hermoso was around Feisty Jay and his mate today. Even Blue and Sweet Girl showed up. Feisty Jay went off looking for a good place to hide his Peanut. He's being pretty picky. A little while after, Webster arrived and announced his annoyance.
Good boy.
After he collected some food with Snowy and went on their way. It's a busy time for them right now. They don't stick around for very long. A Grey Jay came by too, but it wasn't Peanut. How bad I wanted it to be, though. It was the other Grey Jay. On my way back home, I saw the nuthatches, Kiwi, Lentil, Intruder, and Intruder's mate. It got a little emotional for a little bit. I was surprised to see Snowy and Webster first thing today. Lately, I haven't been seeing them much. Usually I have to go searching. Hermoso stopped by too, still no mate. Then Feisty Jay and his mate came by. I found Blue up in his usual territory, but he was nervous and so were the nuthatches. Sweet Girl never did come around. A few pine siskins did, though. And a squirrel. Still no Peanut. pretty windy today. Snowy and Webster were the first to come by again. Then Feisty Jay's mate. I also saw the intruder's mate. Further up, Blue and this time Sweet Girl too came out. It was snowing a little and it looked so nice. I love when the jays fluff out their feathers. The other gray jay came by, and even though I wanted it to be Peanut, I'm glad to still have this little guy, and am making the best of it. It's just nice to have gray jays around. His mate hasn't been with him for days now, so I think she must be nesting. The Pinces can still come to me. Hatch was more than happy to crash their party. One of them stood their ground though, well, until Hatch's next visit anyway. It's the end of April and the snow is still here, but I'm hopeful that it will be gone very soon. I lost Peanut, my gray jay buddy, but I still have one around that maybe I can develop a better relationship with than I was able to before. There's a saying that I really like that goes like this: don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Hermoso is still looking for a mate, and I'm worried that he'll have to leave the area altogether to find one like Peanut had to. I really don't want to lose my Hermoso, but I do want him to find a mate. Next month, pretty much all my jays will be nesting, and the males will get a little break before the babies hatch in June. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this bird nerd diary. Happy birding!